The Just So Stories for Little Children are a collection written by the British author Rudyard Kipling.Highly fantasized origin stories, especially for differences among animals. They are among Kipling's best-known works. Description: the stories, first published in 1902, are Pourquoi or origin stories, fantastic accounts of how various phenomena came about. A forerunner of these stories is Kipling's How Fear Came, included in his The Second Jungle Book. In it, Mowgli hears the story of how the tiger got his stripes. The Just So stories typically have the theme of a particular animal being modified from an original form to its current form by the acts of man, or some magical being. For example, the whale has a tiny throat because he swallowed a mariner who tied a raft inside to block the whale from swallowing other men. The camel has a hump given to him by a jinn as punishment for the camel's refusing to work. The leopard's spots were painted by an Ethiopian. The kangaroo gets its powerful hind legs, long tail, and hopping gait after being chased all day by a dingo, sent by a minor god responding to the kangaroo's request to be made different from all other animals. Kipling illustrated the original editions of the Just So stories. Other illustrators of the book include Joseph M. Gleason. The Just So stories began as bedtime stories told to Effie, when the first 3 were published in a children's magazine, a year before her death. Kipling explained, quote, "In the evening there were stories meant to put Effie to sleep, and you were not allowed to alter those by one single little word. They had to be told just so, or Effie would wake up and put back the missing sentence. So at last they came to be like charms, all 3 of them: the whale tail, the camel tail, and the rhinoceros tail." Just So stories: how the whale got his throat, why the larger whales eat only small prey, how the camel got his hump, how the idle camel was punished and given a hump, how the rhinoceros got his skin, why rhinos have folds in the skin and bad tempers, how the leopard got his spots, why leopards have spots, the elephant's child, how the elephant got his trunk, how the elephant's trunk became long, the sing-song of Old Man Kangaroo, how the kangaroo assumed long legs and tail, the beginning of the armadillos, how a hedgehog and tortoise transformed into the first armadillos, how the first letter was written, introduces the only characters who appear in more than one story, a family of cave people called Tegumai Bopsulai, Teshumai Telwandro, and Taffy-mai Metalamai, explains how Taffy-mai delivered a picture message to her mother, how the alphabet was made. Taffy-mai and her father invent an alphabet. The crab that played with the sea explains the ebb and flow of the tides, as well as how the crab changed from a huge animal into a small one. The cat that walked by himself, the longest story, explains how man domesticated all the wild animals except the cat, which insisted on greater independence. The butterfly that stamped, how Solomon saved the pride of a butterfly, and the Queen of Sheba used this to prevent his wives scolding him. The taboo tale. As well as appearing in a collection, the individual stories have also been published as separate books, often in large format, illustrated editions for younger children. Adaptations. The Just So stories were adapted as a 1984 musical, called Just So. The Elephant's Child was made into a Soviet cartoon in 1967 from Sawyer's Multfilm Studio. The Elephant's Child was made into a children's opera for the King's Singers in 1996 by Darren Hagen. The Cat Who Walked by Himself, a Soviet-drawn animation screen version created by Alexandra Snezko-Blotskar at Sawyer's Multfilm Studio in 1968. The Cat Who Walked by Herself, a Soviet animated feature film based on The Cat That Walked by Himself, from a film studio, Sawyer's Multfilm. Just So stories, a French-British animated co-production from France. 3 was produced in 2008.